Okay, a pleasant day to all. First of all, I would like to introduce myself to all of you. I am Reina Grace P. Herrera, a freshman from Bachelor of Secondary Education, major in English. And today, I'm about to understand and provide all of you a meaningful discussion about the spiritual self. So, this topic is still under the Understanding the Self subject of Mr. Mindanao. And I also want to express my deepest gratitude to Sir Raymond Mindanao for giving this opportunity to express my knowledge and my spiritual self. So now we have the objectives of my presentation. First is to have a deeper understanding about spirituality. Second is to recognize what are the various perspectives in understanding spiritual self. Third is to know yourself more using different contemplative practices. And lastly is to elaborate how do religiosity or religion differ from spirituality. Okay, so before I officially begin sharing about my spiritual self-knowledge, let us first start defining the spirituality, which is the main focus of our topic. So, spirituality involves the recognition of a feeling or sense or belief that there is something greater than myself, something more to be being human than sensory experience, and that the greater whole of which we are part is cosmic or divine in nature. So, that is according to Maya Spencer on his narrative titled, What is Spirituality? A Personal Exploration. So, as we can see here on how Spencer defined the spirituality, he says here that there is something greater than myself. So, it is like some entity or unseen thing that we don't know. Maybe it is a god or deity or something supernatural. Maybe that's how Spencer defines spirituality. And he also says here that it is more being a human than a sensory experience. So it means it is not tangible or it is unseen. Like it's some like connection or relationship to a god or something divine. So to further explain this, the spirituality involves exploring certain universal themes such as love, compassion, life after death, wisdom, and truth, with the knowledge that some people, such as saints or enlightened individuals, have achieved and manifested higher levels of development than the ordinary person. So, aspiring to manifest the attributes of such inspirational examples often becomes an important part of a journey through life for spiritually inclined people. So next, it is still focusing on spirituality. So some may find that their spiritual life is intricately linked to their association with a church, temple, mosque, or synagogue. Other may pray or find comfort in a personal relationship with God or a higher power. So, in the first sentence, it is says here that the spiritual life of a person may be linked with a certain association. So, what is this association? So, it is related to the religion or any specific religion that helps you to know which how to be good or there is always a certain rule to follow. So that is religion and you just need to you will be able to define what is right and what is wrong based on your religion. So here it is said that the spiritual life is linked with the religion and then it is also like in churches, temple, mosque, or synagogue, where these divine places help them to reach the feeling of spirituality. So that's all in this part. And in the second sentence, it says here that through prayers, you will feel comfortable. You feel like it is very comfy to the point that you feel that you are in high or in cloud. So that is when you are having a connection with a God or a higher power or a divine being. So now, speaking of religion earlier, this too this too is very different. Like spirituality is an inherent component of being a human, and it is subjective, intangible, and multifaceted. Spirituality and religion are often interchangeably. So there's a lot of people there's a lot of people that there's a misconception about these two topics, but it is very different. They think that it is similar, but it's not. So, some authors contend that spirituality involves a personal quest for meaning of life. So, some authors about spirituality, they said that it is more on finding your purpose or your meaning in life or how to live an authentic life, on how you reach being happy or feel like you're really satisfied on this world. That is what spirituality is. While in religion, it involves an organized entity with rituals and practices focusing on higher power or God. Spirituality may be related to religion for certain individuals, but not, for example, is atheist or yoga practitioner. So when we say atheist, they are those individuals who doesn't believe in any God, like the creator who create them. Maybe they are believing in some spirits or like things. They praise different things, but I don't know. But there's no God in this belief in atheists. So they still have that spirituality. They still experiencing it, not because uh even though they have that religion, they still feel that spirituality. And also, it is a different from yoga practitioners, which is the yoga. Then, when you are doing a yoga exercise, then you reach that spirituality relaxation when uh, you are only with yourself and you are focusing and concentrating into that exercise. That is also improves your health. So that's how religiosity and spirituality differs. Okay, so next, here is the contemplative practices. So, what is this contemplative practices? Contemplation can be understood as a method of deep concentration, deepen understanding, and insight, cultivate awareness and compassion. Also, it serves as a reflective tool for exploring spirituality. So, first we have the prayer and meditation. So, prayer has a very personal meaning arising from an individual religious background or spiritual practice. For some, prayer will be specific sacred words. For others, it may be more informal talking or listening to God or a higher power. So, what important thing in prayer that we need to know is that it also improves our health, elicit that relaxation response, which lowers our blood pressure and other factors heightened by stress. And it also benefits us and give us positive feeling where we feel gratitude, compassion, forgiveness, and hope at all, which are associated with healing and wellness. And then lastly is the mind body spirit connection, where the prayer uplifts and calms. It inhibits the release of cortisol and other hormones, thus reducing the negative impact of stress on the immune system and promoting healing. So, as we listen to the prayers benefits, it is really relaxing. It is very comfy to listen with because I know that a lot of us pray. Like it's some that makes us realize what's really happening in a certain situation of life. Like it makes us realize our mistakes like that. So while in meditation, like I include here is prayer and meditation. They are quite similar because if you pray, you also meditate because you cannot pray without meditation. So what is this meditation? So the meditation differs somewhat by religion. In Christianity, the goal of meditation is often union with God. In Buddhism, the goal is to expand awareness and gain insight into the nature of passing phenomenon. This may be practiced by sitting in silence where they are often following one's breath, doing intentional movement or using visualization, imagination, and a specific object or mantra as a focus. So in meditation, it is required a lot of concentration and focus for you to achieve this uh, practices. So now let's proceed to the second contemplative practice, which is the mindfulness. Mindfulness can be a tool to discover how spirituality manifests in your life. Mindfulness teaches you to be aware of what is happening in your body and mind in the present moment and open to it with curiosity and kindness. This allows you to explore beliefs, perspectives, and experiences in a new way that might lead to new insight around spiritual questions. So as we hear this, the meaning of mindfulness, it is kinda uh good to hear. Like the moment you hear mindfulness, it's like, oh, that's what mindfulness really are. So we can apply this in now in reality that we should focus on today, what's happening today, and be more focusing on achieving our future. So that's what mindfulness taught us. Like we should we shouldn't live in the past. Like it is more important to focus today and focus on improving ourselves. So that's what mindfulness taught us here in contemplative practices. And then we will be able to attain that mindfulness if we will sit down, pond and realize and concentrate and relax and then start thinking of what is the reality. So that's where mindfulness takes place. So last but not the least is the journaling, or it is other term for taking notes or jotting down in your diaries. So in journaling, you get to know yourself by revealing your most private fears, thoughts, and feelings. Look at your writing time as a personal relaxation time. It is a time where you can distress and wind down because it's like that's where you express your feelings like uh it's like where you have a problem, you don't have someone to talk to, you can express that emotion through writing. So it is a time when you can distress and wind down. So keeping a journal can be a spiritual practice that allows you to connect internally and express yourself. It can be a supportive and helpful practice during difficult times, one that can help you to understand and uncover how you're feeling in that moment. So the great thing about journaling is you can go back within the days of your life, like you can what you call this, you can open your journal and reread your emotions that day, and then sometimes you feel, oh, you feel sad about yourself, and sometimes so it is really important for us to do this journaling. So next we have the experts definition of spirituality. So there's a lot of experts who have different, and there are some who is like there are some commonalities about their definition. But now let's go to Christina Puchalski. He is a MD, director of George Washington Institution for Spirituality and Health, and he contends that spirituality is the aspect of humanity that refers to the way individuals seek and express meaning and purpose, and the way they experience their connection to the moment, to self, to others, to nature, and to the significant or sacred. So, as we evaluate how she defines the spirituality, based on my own interpretation of his of her meaning, like it is some related to how is your relationship. with the situation, with yourself, and with other people. It is also focusing on the how you express or how you interpret your thoughts into other people. So that's how I perceive that one. So next is according to Mario Beauregard and Denise O'Leary, researchers and authors of Spiritual Brain, they said that spirituality means an experience that is thought to bring the experiencer into contact with the divine. Other words, not just an experience that feels meaningful. So they define the spirituality as those situations in our lives that we feel like very meaningful. So when we say very meaningful, it is like authentic, like you feel genuine, like there's no walang bahid ng kasinungalingan. Like it's like very pure or it's meaningful, it is significant, it is something related to like it is some best part of your life just like or this is about the experience where you feel that sensations. So next expert who defines spirituality is are the nurses Ruth Beckman Murray and Judith Proctor Zenter that writes that the spiritual dimension tries to be in harmony with the universe and strives for answers about the infinite and comes into focus when the person faces emotional stress, physical illness, or death. So, if we will go back on the first definition of spirituality from Maya Spencer, it is, I think there's a commonality here in the definition from the nurses. So, here he says that the spiritual dimension tries to be in harmony with the universe. So, it was like you are having that very deep thoughts, like to the point that there's a lot of questions in your head that you are about to answer and able for you to have peace of mind or to relax. So maybe that's the interpretation of this definition. So now for the last slide of my presentation. So to explore life purpose. So we need to explore and to know our purpose in life. So for many, spirituality is connected to large questions about life and identity. So that is why they created this 5 questions that will helps you to know your purpose in life. So first, am I a good person? Like if we heard this question, like we think like, am I really good? Am I good? Like, you know, that is why it takes you a lot to ponder or to answer these questions. But it is important for us to give answer with these questions for us to be able to know our purpose in life. Next is what is the meaning of my suffering? So what is the reason why I am suffering? Like it help us to know if it would be if this will be helpful, beneficial, or does it help us to learn something like that. So third is what is my connection to the world around me? So how this is about how do you relate yourself with others? Like we know that human being is social being. So how is your connection or your relationship with the world? Or do you still connect to the world? Because we have that cyber self and we are more inclined with the technologies. Like we are more uh be with our phones like that. So that question's really significant these days. So the fourth is do things happens for a reason? So this is one of the most common that I always heard. Like some said that everything happens for a reason, like that. So those are both connected. So next is how can I live my life in the best way possible? So in other words, how to live an authentic life. So when I heard this authentic, before I don't know what does authentic means. What I know about authentic is just like pure or tunay, but when we say authentic, it is living on the way you really love, you really desire. So that is that question would takes place in that. So that's all. Thank you. I hope uh Sir Mindanao understand my spirituality or my spiritual self. And again, I am Reina Grace P. Herrera from BS Ed major in English, and this is my video presentation. Here's my other reference. That's all. Thank you.